Welcome to Item Breakdown, a series where I analyze every single item in Mario Maker 2, go over their properties, and find interesting ways to use them in our own levels. This video is all about the hard block and ice block. Both the hard block and ice block are stationary, solid terrain assets available in every game style. The only difference between the hard block and the ice block is that the latter is naturally slippery, and the former is able to activate scroll stop. They share every single property besides the two mentioned here. These blocks can be destroyed by any of the following methods you see on screen. The only modification of these blocks is giving them wings, which causes them to move left and right in a 3-tile range, rising and falling 1 tile off of their horizontal axis as they move. In the 3D world game style, these winged blocks are unable to travel through walls, changing their flight pattern when colliding with other solid objects. When placed on a track, they will move at a medium speed, and the winged modification will move at a very fast speed. Finally, a hard block becomes slippery in the night snow theme. So, now that we know how they work, how do we work with them? These destructible blocks are essential to Super Mario Maker, being halfway between robust and fragile. They can be used in a multitude of different scenarios, from contraptions, puzzles, kaizos, and traditional levels. The hard block in particular has an immensely useful feature, being the only destructible block capable of activating scroll stop. Let's go over that first. My favorite addition to Mario Maker 2 was not any one item, but a certain parameter that affects how the screen scrolls. When a line of either ground blocks or hard blocks extends all the way across the level, either vertically or horizontally, the screen will not scroll past it. This helps create the illusion of levels being larger than they are, and areas that feel separate from the rest of the stage. I honestly can't believe we used to make levels in a game without this feature. But to top it all off, since hard blocks activate scroll stop, they can be destroyed to open up new areas that reveal themselves. This can be used in so many different ways, from traditional levels hiding secret pathways, puzzle levels only opening new rooms once the solution is found, and even timed challenges that require the player to complete room after room before the timer runs out. Let's expand on that last one a little bit. Even with the automatic screen scroll activated, scroll stop prevents the screen from going past this wall of blocks, and resumes its behavior once the hard blocks in the wall are destroyed. So, by setting up these hard blocks to be destroyed about every 5 to 10 seconds, and requiring the player to complete a set of challenges in each room, we create a unique stage that forces the player to think quick on their feet, or otherwise be left behind by the screen scroll. Let's not leave ice blocks behind though, because they serve their purpose as well. While they might be the less useful little brother of the hard block, depending on the kind of level you're making, they can solidify their place. A long row of ice blocks underneath some spikes or icicles can create an interesting section in your speedrun course. The player must duck to avoid getting hit, and hope the ice blocks carry their momentum far enough to make it to the other side. While it's obviously fitting in the snow theme, consider using them in other themes as well. Sometimes a little variety in the blocks you use go a long way. Some creators even use ice blocks to communicate certain things, such as indicating where the player should jump in speedruns. This obviously isn't standard across all levels, but think about how you use certain blocks in your stage, and how they could communicate something to the player if used consistently. Both hard blocks and ice blocks can be used as power-up checks as well. For example, in this level, the player must first obtain a spiny shelmet before entering the next area. The pathway is simply blocked by hard blocks, which require the player to sport a spiky hat to bust through. Let's not forget the fact that these blocks can be placed on tracks too. This is incredibly useful when building complex contraptions, but can also create some unique claustrophobia-inducing courses. Here the player must navigate through tight corridors and moving blocks, timing their movement in order to avoid getting crushed. Giving these blocks wings can also create the same effect. It could even be used to make a moving platform in boss fight rooms. Pair this with Bowser Jr., and the platform can get even more dangerous as he destroys some of the blocks. Kaizo stages make great use of winged hard blocks and ice blocks as well. Have you ever wondered why sometimes a Koopa, Beetle, or Spiny shell is already upside down and ready to grab before you've even touched it? This compact setup makes it so that as soon as these objects are loaded, the shell is knocked upwards. This can make for some highly intense moments, where a shell is dropped for you to grab mid-air, and by using actual shells instead of shellmets, can prevent the player from cheesing your level. And that's just a small chunk of these cubed lumps. If you're looking for more inspiration, check out another one of these item breakdowns. Thanks to all of my patrons and YouTube members for making this series possible, and I'll see you in the next one.